Greetings my diamonds and welcome to my channel. My name is Xabiso, otherwise known as Miss X, and I speak on all things real estate and self-development. Today's video is going to be rather short and sweet and straight to the point. I'm going to be speaking about the costs related into selling your home. Let's get into it. So selling your home is not as easy as 1, 2, 3 sold, right? There are quite a lot of costs involved in selling your home. So when you see a home for sale for 5 million, it does not mean that the seller will get 5 million in their pocket, right? So the first thing that we need to understand when selling our property, is there a bond on the property? And this is what any estate agent is going to ask you. Is there still a bond on the property? Are you still paying it off? Because closing that account usually requires 1% of the amount outstanding, right? And sometimes you're selling your home because you cannot afford to make the bonding anymore. So you're now going to have to settle the debt and the amount the 1% of the amount that was outstanding, right? So that's the first cost you need to consider when you're thinking about selling your home. Then the next big cost that a seller will encounter is estate agent commission for your property practitioner's commission, right? That ranges from about 5% to 7.5% in the industry, right? We are going to make a separate video about what mandate you should choose, right? That's not the video for today. But an estate agent's job is really to come and market your property and highlight its best features and find the appropriate people who are going to buy that property. How do they do that? They will always pre-qualify the buyer so that the transaction is not held up and it is smooth, so that we know, or we have reasonable assurance that the person will be able to see this transaction through. And that is why you need to take time to actually find a good estate agent. You need to find an estate agent who's professional, an estate agent who has your best interest at heart. And you need to remember that when you're finding an estate agent or property practitioner to sell your home, they are representing your best interests, right? And you need to remind them of that as well. So upon the sale, some property practitioners don't work on a percentage, but they work on a round figure. Perhaps you tell them, I want 1 million on this property, right? They will then market the property at 1.5 billion, right? And then they will take their 500,000 and give you your million. Yeah. Then the next big cost you will encounter is capital gains tax. So capital gains tax is the tax on the gain of selling assets of a capital nature, right? So your transferring attorneys usually hold back a percentage of the proceeds from the sale of your property to pay for capital gains tax, right? And also this percentage is usually dependent on whether the property was sold by a natural person, or was it a company structure, or was it within a trust structure, right? Those things differ. So that's why at this point you will need to be speaking to your tax practitioner or your accountant to make this calculation. And it's not just 5 million that they're taxing you on. It's base cost less proceeds. I think that's the last I checked, that your capital gains tax is really a significant amount. So by the time, let's say, you sell your 5 million rand property, you're going to have to pay what was outstanding on the bond. You're going to what was the estate's agreed estate agent's commission. You're also going to pay that capital gains tax, right? So that 5 million really in your pocket could end up being perhaps 2.5 million, right? So this is what you need to consider when you are selling your property. And this is why, again, it is important to know your finances and know where you will start, where you will make a loss, and know where to cut costs, essentially, right? and whether you want to sell your property on auction or not. Perhaps we'll make a video on that as well. And selling your property, there's a clause in most offer to purchases where you are selling the property voetstoots. Now, voetstoots is selling the property as is, right? Sometimes a buyer can come in and say, I am going to buy the property, but I want you to fix X, Y, and Z, right? So you need to think, is it worth it or is it not worth it fixing those things so that you can get a buyer, right? Sometimes before you even sell the property, you're going to have to sign a property condition report where they ask you, are you aware of any defects in the property, latent and patent defects, right? And you have to declare those defects, right? These defects are sometimes used as a negotiation tool in properties. So some estate agents say if you want to maximize the amount of money you'll get, they'll tell you fix up the property. But some will say the property is sold voetstoots and you have to be honest. Actually by law you must be honest in what's wrong with the property, and this is what you are willing to sell, and you must have sort of a negotiation room. I don't lie on this channel. I did say this video was going to be cute, short, and to the point. So, the three major costs encountered when selling your property are the bond closing account costs, or clearing out the bond, which is the outstanding amount, the estate agent's commission, and lastly, the capital gains tax, which is calculated on a case-by-case basis, right? Whether you have a primary residence, whether it's a primary residence or not, sold by a natural person in a trust, it's a different calculation in those different scenarios, right? If you liked this video, if you know anyone selling their property, share this video with them, and we hope it to be a successful transaction for them, and I do hope you come back for more videos. My name is Xabiso, otherwise known as Miss X, and thank you for watching.